The 11th of May, we're well and truly into autumn now, even though this apple tree doesn't really seem to know that just yet. Just starting to yellow now, but most of the trees on the farm have already turned and dropped most of their leaves. And so this is always a great time for a bit of tree maintenance and planting new trees and relocating and so forth. I noticed that this apple tree has put on a fair bit of growth. This is a Jonathan apple. To be honest, I don't actually remember when I planted it or even really the circumstances in which I got this tree. I think it was a spur of the moment kind of purchase from a big chain hardware store. I think you can see here where I've previously had wrapping around it, and it's kind of indented the trunk here. I'm going to re-wrap the trunk, even though it is fairly sizable now, and so has a good thick sort of outer cambium to protect it. I'm pretty sure rabbits would still get in. You can see where rabbits have chewed it when it was much younger. That's recovered pretty well, but I still reckon that come spring, as the sap is sort of rising in the wood, rabbits could get at this again. So and then if they did that, they can effectively ring bark the tree, in which case, you know, your tree's dead. It's a pretty simple process. Just use a bit of baling twine at the top. Just found the tag, so it's a golden delicious apple. Not a Jonathan, as I had thought. What I'm going to do is, as I've scraped away the base to wrap it, I'm going to use these old pizza boxes, which I've just had sitting on the ground here, sort of getting all wet and decomposing directly, to act as a bit of a weed barrier. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do today is focus on moving some trees, or at least identifying trees for removal. But yeah, I have options, plenty of options for trees that need to be relocated. I have a nectarine tree here, which is one of two stone fruits. I've got a peach as well. I think, even though I'm not convinced that that's in the right spot, I think I am going to leave that. Louis' tree here, which is a weeping cherry, a prunus. It offers sapling trees around it, and there's a rather large one here that I can dig up. I have already done this once before from a seeded sapling from this tree, so there's that. Here's garden. Has a nice new path now. Bit of planting happening on the side. Look at this beauty. This tree was relocated last year. I think it's going to stay there. Leo's new bed. But there is another here. I think this possibly could be moved now, and there's actually a third one as well. There was a fourth, but it didn't survive. I'm up here at the meadow garden, and I've dug this hole thinking that one of those maples could come up here. But as I'm digging, I'm noticing that actually the soil's really quite a bit drier up here. And even though the trees that are here are working, so far there's a white cherry, or two white cherries, one that side, and a French oak tree, which has been there for many years now. and a sort of eucalypt that keeps re-sprouting. But eventually it won't be there. I'll remove the stump. Yeah, but anyway, I think this soil is just too dry for a maple. So what I do have in another section is a couple of turkey oaks, which have been constantly eaten back by rabbits. I don't even know sort of what condition they're in actually, but maybe I could take those out, and I know they're a bit more dry tolerant, and then put the maple tree where those oaks currently are. So I'm going to have a look for this this oak tree. So here is one of the little oaks that I was talking about. That one's not looking very good at all. This one's looking a little better. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And maybe this is why this turkey oak is considered to be drought tolerant. But it's put down a tremendously long taproot. So I'm just trying to very carefully dig to the bottom of it so as to have minimal breakage, but yeah, really very deep. So I've prepared this hole and I've dug it at various depths, and even at this very lowest depth I've actually crowbarred down, so that soil is quite soft, which would make it much easier for roots to penetrate down into that. And that of course is because I've just noticed that these little trees have, or one of them at least, has developed a very significant taproot. I wasn't able to get it out, so I've broken the taproot. It was this one here. It's got these other little lateral, much finer roots, and then obviously these sort of delicate hair roots as well. But yeah, definitely had reached well down into the soil. The soil, as I said, is much drier up here, so as per usual, I'm going to try and improve it a bit with a bit of materials from the sheep pen. And what I'm thinking of doing, the other one didn't have such a taproot, interestingly, and it's the smaller of the two. I'm thinking I'm going to put them both in the same hole. I know that's probably a mistake, because if they both take, you probably don't want two trees planted so close together. But I reckon there's a chance that obviously that one of them or both of them won't survive. So I guess I'm doubling up my chances of getting a viable transplant. But if they should both take, and it's conceivable that they both will, I think I have enough root from each of them. I guess I could just come and cut down the less healthy of the two. Okay, so that's in. I've put some wire around it just to protect it a bit, because I'm pretty sure that rabbits will notice that it's new and come in and nibble it a fair bit. And I've replanted some of the bulbs that came out of that hole, and found a bunch more while I was backfilling. So I'll take those down to Leo's garden. Yeah, and I've, as I said, put the two in there. The other thing that it might do is just encourage them to, be a bit competitive with one another and put on a bit more growth. Obviously, oaks are notoriously slow growing, but once established, they are pretty hardy. So, as I said before, this is a holm oak, a French oak, which has been here, I reckon probably 2018, possibly 2017. It was one of the very first things that we planted in this section, an English oak, which is the deciduous type here, which I've put this guard around because it was just being nibbled on, and it didn't seem to love that. But with the guard, it's going great. Both of these oaks, by the way, are inoculated with black truffle. Who knows if they have any truffle at their roots, but it's possible. Yeah, so this is the meadow garden, and so far there's lots of trees, different sort of European trees in here now. So jacaranda, elm tree, pistachio, various oak trees, the cherries, and then sort of shrubs around the pond. There's bulbs everywhere here. I would say there's between sort of, it must be easily 2,000 bulbs. And so as soon as you start digging anywhere, you encounter bulbs, and you can see how they've sort of divided themselves up over the years. They sort of clump together like that. So I'll put some of them back into the hole that I've just dug, but I'll also relocate some of them.